You're listening to the only GLBT sports radio show in the nation. Compete Radio. Is on 1480 KPHX. This is Compete Sports News Brief.
This is Buddy Early with your Compete Sports News Brief. Are there any major college football programs left that are not under suspicion of wrongdoing? It's certainly hard to imagine so, given the latest news surrounding Oregon and Ohio State. According to investigative stories by both ESPN and Yahoo Sports, officials in Oregon's athletic department allegedly paid more than $28,000 to two men with ties to multiple recruits signed by the Ducks. The money, paid for information on potential recruits, has come under scrutiny after the investigations. While paying for such information is not illegal, if either of the two men paid for the scouting services funneled players to Oregon, it would constitute an NCAA violation. The Ducks have gone public with their financial records, and that type of honesty and cooperation, two things the NCAA values very highly, may alleviate potential punishment for the school. Ohio State, on the other hand, may be in hotter water. Yahoo has reported that head coach Jim Tressel was aware that several of his players had sold gear and awards more than 8 months before the school officials said they knew. In December, 5 Buckeyes, including quarterback Terrell Pryor, were found guilty of NCAA violations for selling the items and received 5-game suspensions to be served at the beginning of next season. The items included championship rings, awards from bowl games, game-worn jerseys, and pendants that OSU players earn for victories over Michigan. The Yahoo report cites an anonymous source with apparent knowledge that Tressel knew of the incidents as early as last April. For his role, Coach Tressel was fined $250,000 by the university and will be suspended for the first 2 games of the season. Speaking of athletes with questionable character, former NFL wide receiver Plaxico Burress will be getting out of prison 3 months earlier than expected. It seems the former Giants starter was on good behavior while in the slammer and will be a free man in June instead of September. The timing is significant, as it would perhaps allow Burress time to sign with a team before the season starts, even possibly prior to training camp. Burress received a 2-year sentence after accidentally shooting himself in the thigh with an unlicensed gun at a New York City nightclub in November of 2008. This has been Buddy Early with another Compete Sports News Brief.
Compete Radio is brought to you in part by
One Community is an interactive web and events community for gay, lesbian, and allied individuals and corporations. For more information, please log on to onecommunity.co.
Ready for countdown.
You're listening to Compete Radio with your host, Josh Fourier. Sports News Brief with Buddy Early. Alfonso Chavez with Sports Pop. The conservative voice, Eric Carlisle. And resident straight lady, Connie Wardman.
Welcome to the big show. I'm your host, Josh Fourier. We're here with Alfonso, Buddy, Connie, and Eric. What a week it's been. I just saw, I think it was on Tuesday, there were like over 1 million birds, or not birds, fish, that just popped up randomly. They were all floating dead in the bay and I think it was south of LA.
Yeah, it wasn't Long Beach. It was but it was a city down that way.
It's called Bula Bays.
Bula Bays?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I mean, like, this is now like an ongoing pattern, right? With like these mass
animals just dying.
Yeah, what is that? I don't know. Some say it's the.
We're in some kind of extreme competition for something.
Yeah, Connie, your mic's not on. There's some people are saying, there we go. Hi, Connie.
All right. Hello, everybody.
Some people are saying it's like the end of times, the rapture. Others are saying it's like, what is it, global warming?
A buffet.
Yeah.
But I still think they were doing extreme sports of some kind.
We have a lot going on this week. It's time now for Sports Pop.
This is Sports Pop.
Pop, pop, pop music. Pop, pop, pop music.
Yeah, so I guess in the sports world, we are a sports show. What?
Imagine that.
Yeah, what do we have going on?
Well, this week, a fan in London decided to storm the field, and we know that there are streakers of sorts, and sometimes people just get this wild hair and decide that it would be a good idea to run on the field while a game's going on. Professional, amateur, it doesn't matter. Maybe people get dared. Maybe people just think, this is my moment. But one player ended up causing, not a player, but a quote-unquote streaker ended up creating an issue for a player on a soccer team in London. There was this guy that was wearing one of those Borat-style
Is that
bikinis that
that
go
one
up to your
piece?
shoulders.
Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't, rather than wrap around your waist, it goes up to your shoulders.
Okay.
And it's kind of like this lime green thing that's known as a mankini. Yeah, I don't know how they came up with that name, but
Well, it was made to show the wild hair.
all of them, yeah, or most of them at least. And when this guy ran on the field, he was wearing only this thing, and
Okay.
he was wearing this curly brown-haired wig. I guess an imitation of Borat. Well, he basically ran around the field for about 30 seconds while the players just kind of looked at him, and there was a couple people on the field that kind of made an attempt to go out after him, but after realizing they were probably a little too big to catch him, they just let him keep going at it. Well, Ashley Vickers, who is the player-manager of Dorchester, which was one of the teams that was playing, got a red card for tackling this guy.
You're kidding.
And what happens in soccer, when you get a red card, you have to exit the field immediately, and you are not replaced for the remainder of the game. So your team has to play one man short against the other team when you get a red
But the
card.
guy wasn't a player. That still counted against him.
Apparently, that kind of contact is illegal, whether it's with another player or with some random person who decides to run around the field in a Borat-style mankini.
Coincidentally, I received a black card from American Express this week, so I don't know if it's exactly the same penalties apply, but
I don't.
Is that
I
like a pink
hesitate-
slip, or is that...
Hesitate to ask what you were wearing when you got your black card.
a lime green mankini.
That's what I was afraid of.
Yeah.
Jesus, block that out of my head. Help me, Lord. So this guy that was running around streaking the field, he ended up getting banned.
I should hope so.
Well,
For doing
yes.
this. Yeah. Comments, anyone?
I'm with Connie here. I find it kind of funny that this
Yeah.
guy.
They didn't have security?
Maybe it was a little excessive force. I don't know. I haven't seen a video or anything. But you gotta, when streakers come onto the field, a lot of it's in good fun, but you also accept the consequences when you do that. And I think a lot of people throughout the years, when they do that, whether it's, jumping in a parachute in the middle of a game or running onto the field and showing your boobs or whatever, you're doing that and with consequences.
Right.
And you say, I accept that. And part of it, and it's not the first time this thing has happened, it's happened
Right.
in baseball games too, where a player has clotheslined the guy who ran onto the field or tackled him in a football game, things like that. It's happened before.
And don't forget about "Don't tase me, dude."
Don't tase me, bro.
Bro.
Was that what it was, bro?
Yeah.
Well, when
hate
I
that
crash
word.
landed my helicopter into the White House grounds, they came right after me. So
Do not even joke about that.
I'm guessing that was a Barbie house and like one of those remote control helicopters.
Well, streaking a professional sporting event used to be all in good fun, and we all remember
Yeah.
Morgana, who would come on and kiss the players on the field.
I wish somebody would have tased her.
But a few years ago, I think it was in Kansas City, we had a situation where some guys jumped out of their seats. They were like in the first or second row. They were drunk. Went and beat the crap out of the first base umpire in a game.
Word.
Wow.
And so you have situations like that, and it kind of puts a lot of people on edge around the world in the sports community.
Yeah, people have gotten a little crazy and carried away.
Yeah, unfortunately so,
Yeah.
because, that kind of thing used to be fun to do. And now
Well,
you don't know.
Along the lines of
Buddy never spent much time in jail for his streaking appearances.
No, never convicted.
Oh,
I
there
will
you
say
go.
that
The
much.
only
Oh, right.
streaking Buddy does is cleaning windows. Is that about
I
right?
don't do windows.
Oh, okay, my bad. Sorry, Josh. What was that?
well, I mean, I don't know. I would think if people were crazy enough to jump onto the field, and streak, typically they're naked, right? I mean, it's a pretty bold move to
Naked-ish.
do this.
I mean,
I think one of those mankinis is about tantamount to it, isn't it?
well, on the bright side, the guy was actually in really good shape, because generally when people run around like that, they're not people you want to see.
Right.
And this was somebody people would probably be okay with looking at in a mankini.
Then we should definitely put that video up if there is video.
There is, it is
On
a video,
the-
yes.
Oh, geez.
CompeteRadio.com.
Well, buddy, you were mentioning how people, have to accept the consequences, I guess, if anything bad happens, right? But I wouldn't be surprised if someone who is as bold as this to go and, jump on the field like that, if they would have the whole hot coffee syndrome. You remember the McDonald's, the
And
Sue Happy
That
lady?
definitely happens as well. Usually they end up not winning if they try to sue, because
Right.
the judge laughs them out of the courtroom.
Yeah.
And in the situation last year with the Phillies, where the security guard chased the kid down and tased him, they have a jail right there in the stadium.
Wow.
And
That's
I
awesome.
think maybe even a court.
Yeah.
That says a lot about Philly fans.
They
Does
need
that
to have
anything
those at
to
high
do
school
with
games.
Night Court that used to be on television.
It probably
way back
was
when?
very similar.
Well, keep in mind this was in London, right? So even
Yeah.
their judges wear like long white wigs. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
So they are not to be judging anyone in a mankini.
Right. Do we have a quick second for me to talk about this epic win that took place this week?
Yeah, we have a couple minutes.
Okay, so there was this guy who was watching a spring training game, and let's see, who was it? Oh, it was the Blue Jays versus the Braves, and a man named a player, Dan Ugla. He's a second baseman for
Who's
the Braves.
also a man.
Yes, he is a man, as far as I know. Well, he swung, and he kind of let his bat fly, and it went into the stands.
Oh, dear.
A man named Mitch Davey, who's from Brooklyn, was in the stand, holding his beer, caught the flying bat with his free hand, didn't spill his beer, and kept it from hitting the people in the section around him.
Oh, my gosh. Now, there's somebody who deserves it.
Yeah,
Right
so
on.
an epic win to Mitch Davey of Brooklyn, New York.
winning.
Winning, that's someone who gets my respect because you pay $8 to $10 for one of those beers and you do not want to
Right.
spill it.
Luckily, it was a can, so they're harder to spill.
Oh, it was a can. That does. Not, he still has my respect, but if it was a tumbler of beer, that would be more impressive.
Coming up next, we're speaking with Chip. He is the president and founder of the Gay Polo League. Log on to CompeteRadio.com. We'll be right back.
Compete Radio. Is on 1480 KPHX.
Compete Radio is the only gay sports radio show in Arizona. Advertisers of this program reach more than 95% of Maricopa County, and by advertising on Compete Radio, you show the citizens of Arizona that your business believes in diversity, equality, and human rights. 79% of our audience is more likely to buy from a gay-friendly business, and loyalty to the Compete brand is at an all-time high. For more information on advertising on Compete Radio, please call 480-222-4223. That's 480-222-4223, or log on to CompeteNetwork.com and click on Advertise.
Roscoe's on 7th Sports Grill.
Host of the first big party every week with its 2-for-1 Tuesday and Thursday nights.
Enjoy great food and daily drink specials while watching one of our 13 screens, catching all your favorite sports action, plus the best scenery in town, if you know what I mean.
Roscoe's on 7th is located just south of Highland on 7th Street. Log on to roscoe'son7th.com. Roscoe's on 7th.
Your sports bar.
Steel Gym, the only real gym in New York City. From aerobic machines to strength training, 2 floors with all the equipment you need to achieve your fitness goals. Independent, more personal, open 24 hours, and named one of the top 6 gyms in the U.S. by Muscle and Fitness magazine. All personal trainers, welcome. Steel Gym. Come by and see why we're the only real gym in New York City.
For more information, feel free to contact us at www.steelgym.com or 212-352-9876.
Compete Radio.
Compete Radio is proud to present the Compete Experience. Come meet your favorite Compete personalities up close and personal. Upcoming appearances include March 12th and 13th. Come meet Connie Wardman and David Ariak at the Jacob Javits Center in New York City at the original GLBT Expo. They'll be at booth 619. March 12th in Washington, D.C., Compete All-Star Ken Hunt is at the Team DC's fashion show and model search. March 12th in Palm Springs, come meet Eric Carlisle at the 17th Annual Steve Chase Humanitarian Awards.
Log on to CompeteRadio.com for more.
Hey, this is Ken, owner of Steel Gym in New York City. Join me and Compete Sports in D.C. for the Team DC Fashion Show and Model Search. Doors open at 7 and $10 cover benefits Team DC. See you there.
Listen up! The three most important things in my life are God, family, and the Green Bay Packers. That's my better half, Marie. She's no pushover. How else could she have stayed married to me for the last 20 years? Press is hard on me because I push my players to the brink. But they sing a different song when we win on Sundays. They all know that winning isn't everything. It's the only thing.
Lombardi on Broadway. More than just the game.
Compete Radio is brought to you in part by
One Community is an interactive web and events community for gay, lesbian, and allied individuals and corporations. For more information, please log on to onecommunity.co.
Compete Radio. Compete Radio is on 1480 KPHX.
Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Josh Fourier. If you have just joined us, we've been talking about, these mass extinctions not extinctions, but these like mass suicides of the animals. I think it was like over 1 million fish turned up. It was in one of the harbors in LA. Crazy things going on, but we have on the line with us today, his name is Chip, and he is the founder and president of the Gay Polo League. Chip, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Josh. I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. We're honored that you are able to call in. Your name is Chip McKenney. Can you tell me a little bit about gay polo, or actually just polo in general, for those of us that aren't aware what that is?
I would love to tell you about polo first. Polo is an ancient game. I think the first recorded games took place over 3,000 years ago in Persia. And it's been played, it started out as a military game. And then down through the histories, it became more and more of a sport as horse-mounted militaries became obsolete. But it's a sport that's played throughout the world. It's played on a grass field that is 9 times the size of a football field.
Wow.
There are 4 players on each side, all mounted on horses, that are as fast as racehorses, as quick as a gazelle, and the idea is, or the purpose is, that each team takes a ball which is about the size of a hard baseball and carries it down the field to the goals. So you can reach speeds up to 35 miles an hour. It's very similar. It's been said that it's very similar to like hockey, but on horseback.
Sounds like it could be a dangerous game.
You're absolutely correct, Josh. Polo is a dangerous game, which is part of the thrill and part of the adrenaline rush of the experience. But it also makes certain that, as with any sport that has some danger and some speed, you have to train for it and you have to prepare for it, and the Gay Polo League takes that very seriously.
Sure. And now, why a Gay Polo League?
Well, I get that. I get asked why a Gay Polo League often. And the short answer is, why not? The longer answer is, the gay community itself is changing, and we're assimilating more into mainstream society and all of that. So there is definitely an interest, I think, that any minority has, whether it's women or seniors or gays, that really want to still have an experience within their own fraternity and within their own community. So that's good. That said, it has attracted people not only on a sports level, but also on a social level. So while our membership is gay identified and predominantly composed of gays and lesbians, not all our members are gay or lesbian.
And can you tell me, it's just, I'm still trying to absorb all this. When I think of the gay community, I wouldn't think immediately about gay and lesbian individuals wanting to play an aggressive, possibly dangerous sport. I mean, I know there's training and everything, but, it's just, maybe it's just a personal thing for me. I would not think that this would be, at the top of the list for most gay and lesbian individuals. Are you finding that it's actually popular?
It's very popular. When I started this, we're in our fifth season, just starting our fifth season, Josh. And when I started this, it really was motivated by my own desire to expand my social network within the gay and lesbian community.
Sure.
And what I didn't realize at that time was that there were many, many people also within the gay community that wanted to have something other than what has already been established as gay organizations or gay groups. And currently, while we started out in Los Angeles, there were just two of us that started. I called a buddy of mine that actually did have some writing experience, and he called a friend of his who didn't, and it just sort of snowballed. We went from having one chapter in Los Angeles to now we have four very active chapters. We're in Los Angeles, we're in San Francisco, we're in New York, and we're also in Palm Beach, Florida.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, is that great? And then we have some members. We have two members in South Africa. We have a member in Australia. We have a very famous woman who's a polo player who's based out of France, out of Paris. And we're gaining members all the time. So there actually is an attraction to it. And I think if I were to put my finger on what I believe is the attraction, I think it's a number of things, and I'll cut them down for you. Number one, it's a very unique experience. And I think people in the gay community have always sort of looked for that new thing or that unique opportunity to have an experience.
Sure.
I think that's actually a gift within our community. And I think that the other thing is it's an ancient sport, and it's a beautiful sport. The destinations are gorgeous, as you can imagine, because where else can you find fields that are 9 times a football field?
I couldn't imagine.
The horses are magnificent. And it's a team sport. So you have that type of team experience that a lot of homosexuals I have found through this didn't get to experience as kids.
Sure. And do you find the competition to be fierce?
Fierce. It's crazy. What is really, really fun about this is, and know this, we also field teams. We have two all-gay tournaments, one on the West Coast, one on the East Coast. But other than that, we actually field gay teams in open tournaments. So we play against non-gay teams. So we're pretty serious about that. What is very interesting on an immediate level is, the guys and the women who come to us who've never been on a horse, which is the majority of our members.
Yeah.
For the first 15 minutes, they're tentative and they're reserved, and then something just flips, and their whole countenance changes, and they become, more bold, and they need a faster horse, and they get up in the competitive spirit. And it's great because it touches that part of them that is, I think, kind of a new and fresh part. So and that just feeds upon itself. And as you get better, of course, and you practice and you learn and you compete, you just up your own game.
Sure. So are you saying that there's still possibly hope for me to be able to get on a horse?
I guarantee you can become a polo player. I guarantee it. And you have a standing invitation to come to Los Angeles or San Francisco or New York or Wellington, and we'll make sure that we live up to that. Wow,
awesome. I might actually take you up on that. I don't know, though. It makes me a little nervous. I don't want to get hurt or anything, but...
I promise you won't get hurt the first time.
Oh, okay, the first time.
How's that?
Right.
That's as far as I can go.
If you've just joined us today, we're speaking with Chip McKenney. He is the founder and president of the Gay Polo League. And I wanted to backtrack just a little bit, Chip. Does this mean now that you have international status? Can we say that safely?
You can safely say that. We do. If you check out our website, which is gaypolo.com, you'll actually see our members in Canada and our members in France and our members in Australia. So yes, we do. And our goal, our long-term vision, is to create tournaments in international arenas. Like, we'd love to do something in France. We would love to do something in Argentina. And we'd love to do something all over the world. And that's the direction that I see this league going.
I'm so happy for you that it was this vision that you had to start, this gay polo. I mean, out of all things, you had this vision for gay polo. You started this, and now you're all over the world. I mean, that is so incredible, and I'm so happy to see things like this happening in our world today. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. One thing that I'd love to take an opportunity to mention is, when I first started this, there was really no political agenda behind it. And it was really just about, let's share some great experiences within our own community. What I have been so pleased about and really feel blessed about is the fact that the polo community as a whole, which is not known as a welcoming gay sport, quite frankly, in the world of horses, certainly, they have opened their arms and welcomed us at every single venue we've been in, and we have been all over this country now.
So the straight teams,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
the teams, the non-gay teams, they have opened their arms and welcomed you guys?
Completely.
Wow.
Completely. We've had very little negative, if any, feedback. I mean, there's the one or the two people, but
sure.
For the most part, 99% of our experiences have been incredible.
That's awesome.
Isn't that great?
Just very quickly, do you have any tournaments or anything that are coming up in the near future?
We do. April 2nd of this year, the GPL will field 4 teams from all around the world that will be competing in Wellington, Florida. And if they go to Phelps Media, or actually probably Compete Media will have information on how they can get tickets.
Absolutely.
But it's going to be April 2nd. It's going to be a fantastic day, and we would love to have everybody come.
Absolutely. We'd love to see everyone there. Chip, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show. We are so happy that you could be here today.
I appreciate the opportunity to talk more about the GPL.
Well, that was Chip McKenney. He is the founder and president of the Gay Polo League. We need to take a quick break, but we'll be right back after this with more. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Compete Radio is on 1480 KPHX.
Compete Radio is the only gay sports radio show in Arizona. Advertisers of this program reach more than 95% of Maricopa County, and by advertising on Compete Radio, you show the citizens of Arizona that your business believes in diversity, equality, and human rights. 79% of our audience is more likely to buy from a gay-friendly business, and loyalty to the Compete brand is at an all-time high. For more information on advertising on Compete Radio, please call 480-222-4223. That's 480-222-4223, or log on to CompeteNetwork.com and click on Advertise.
Roscoe's on 7th Sports Grill.
Host of the first big party every week with its 2-for-1 Tuesday and Thursday nights.
Enjoy great food and daily drink specials while watching one of our 13 screens, catching all your favorite sports action, plus the best scenery in town, if you know what I mean.
Roscoe's on 7th is located just south of Highland on 7th Street. Log on to roscoesonseventH.com. Roscoe's on 7th.
Your sports bar.
Steel Gym, the only real gym in New York City. From aerobic machines to strength training, 2 floors with all the equipment you need to achieve your fitness goals. Independent, more personal, open 24 hours, and named one of the top 6 gyms in the U.S. by Muscle and Fitness magazine. All personal trainers, welcome. Steel Gym. Come by and see why we're the only real gym in New York City.
For more information, feel free to contact us at www.steelgym.com or 212-352-9876.
Compete Radio.
Compete Radio is proud to present the Compete Experience. Come meet your favorite Compete personalities up close and personal. Upcoming appearances include March 12th and 13th. Come meet Connie Wardman and David Riek at the Jacob Javits Center in New York City at the original GLBT Expo. They'll be at booth 619. March 12th in Washington, D.C., Compete All-Star Ken Hunt is at the Team DC's Fashion Show and Model Search. March 12th in Palm Springs, come meet Eric Carlisle at the 17th Annual Steve Chase Humanitarian Awards.
Log on to CompeteRadio.com for more.
All of us here at Video Graphic Design Studio want to congratulate the team at Compete, the Gay Sports Magazine, and Compete Radio for all your accomplishments. Harness the power of video for your business. Visit videographicdesignstudio.com.
Listen up! The 3 most important things in my life are God, family, and the Green Bay Packers. That's my better half, Marie. She's no pushover. How else could she have stayed married to me for the last 20 years? Presses hard on me because I push my players to the brink. But they sing a different song when we win on Sundays. They all know that winning isn't everything. It's the only thing.
Lombardi on Broadway. More than just the game.
Thompson Image Photography specializes in headshots, portraits, children's photography, weddings, commitment ceremonies, editorial, and lifestyle photography. Our studio is located in Paradise Valley. We offer a wide range of products from your standard prints to prints on canvas. There are 2 photographers at Thompson Image Photography, Don Thompson and Stephanie Heyman. We can be reached at 602-418-2262, and please visit our website, www.thompsonimage.com.
Sports Club at City Square with over 35,000 square feet of state-of-the-art equipment. Call 602-285-2929. Hey, it's Josh Fourier, host of Compete Radio. I'm hanging out with Jay here at the show. I don't know about you, Jay, but I love CompeteRadio.com.
Yeah, I do too, Josh. Compete Radio, it's always up to date, and it's one of the more informative sites out there for gay sports.
CompeteRadio.com. That's CompeteRadio.com.
CompeteRadio.com.
Hey, Alfonso, come here.
Ugh, what?
Attitude.
Oh, I'm just playing, Josh. I know you're going to make me a star.
Anyway, listen to the promo I made for Compete Radio on KPHX.
Is that Madonna?
Yeah? Why do you ask like that?
We're a sports show. Isn't that a little gay?
Alfonso, we're a gay show. Aren't we supposed to be a little gay?
No, we're supposed to be a lot gay. Okay?
So meaty.
Ready for countdown.
You're listening to Compete Radio with your host, Josh Fourier. Sports News Brief with Buddy Early. Alfonso Chavez with Sports Pop. The conservative voice, Eric Carlisle. And resident straight lady, Connie Wardman. Compete Radio is brought to you in part by
Sports Club at City Square with over 35,000 square feet of state-of-the-art equipment. Call 602-285-2929.
This is Compete Sports News Brief.
I'm Buddy Early, and this is another Compete Sports News Brief. Tennis great Serena Williams likely will not return to the game until at least the summer, possibly later. The 13-time Grand Slam champion hasn't played since winning her 4th Wimbledon title last July, due mostly to a foot injury she suffered when she stepped on a piece of glass. And after her recent health scare, Williams' extended vacation got even longer. Doctors discovered several blood clots in her lungs recently, and later she needed treatment for a hematoma in her stomach that had grown to the size of a grapefruit. During an appearance on the Today Show this past week, Williams called the experience, quote, the scariest moment of my life. Most tennis experts agree that the 29-year-old player is still one of the best in the women's game and has plenty of tennis left in her. However, a return in time for Wimbledon is questionable, and who knows when Serena will be back in top form. A heavyweight title bout of epic proportion looks like it's finally going to happen this summer, as Vladimir Klitschko and David Haye have agreed to fight. Although talks between the two camps had collapsed several times in the last 2 years, it now appears certain that the fight will happen either June 25th or July 2nd in Germany. Klitschko has a 55-3 record with 49 knockouts. Haye will bring his 25-1 record with 23 knockouts into the match, which has been a long time coming. In 2009, Haye pulled out of a scheduled fight with Klitschko due to a back injury. The battle of the top 2 heavyweights in the world will be the biggest fight that division has seen in the last decade. The Associated Press has started handing out its year-end awards in college basketball. In 5 of the 6 major conferences, both Player of the Year and Coach of the Year went to the same school. The exception was the ACC, in which Duke senior guard Nolan Smith won Player of the Year, and North Carolina coach Roy Williams won Coach of the Year. Other players and coaches honored include Notre Dame's Ben Hansbrough and Mike Bray in the Big East, Purdue's Jawan Johnson and Matt Painter in the Big Ten, Florida's Charlie Parsons and Billy Donovan in the SEC, Kansas's Marcus Morris and Bill Self in the Big 12, and Arizona's Derek Williams and Sean Miller in the Pac-10. And couch potatoes like myself are rejoicing as March Madness is well underway. Which teams will get a number 1 seed in the tournament? Kansas, Pittsburgh, and Ohio State are considered locks for 3 of the number 1 seeds. The 4th number 1 seed looks to be between Notre Dame and Duke. We'll find out Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern as the field is announced. This has been Buddy Early, and this has been another Compete Sports News Brief.
This is Sports Pop.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Josh Fourier. We're here with Alfonso, Buddy, Connie, and Eric. So, apparently, from what I heard, now this is super secret information.
Ooh.
Okay, not really. But from what I heard...
There are no secrets in this office, Josh.
I know.
Well, I guess there are a few, but...
There's a few that everyone knows about and no one talks about. So there was a BYU player, I guess it was suspended, right, for having sex.
Yeah, this has actually been a really big deal and a very controversial topic around the sports world and even in the mainstream world, outside of sports. This player, his name is Brandon Davies. He's a sophomore at BYU. He was suspended for breaking BYU's honor code. And their honor code, here's an example of some of the things that are forbidden is alcohol, coffee, tea, foul language, basically, of course, premarital sex, but it basically requires students at BYU to be, quote unquote, virtuous and chaste.
Huh.
Okay. Then.
Yeah, and this is something that every student at BYU has to. They basically have to sign this honor code when they come to the university. So you can't just go to the university and be like, oh well, I'm not going to sign this honor code so that I'm exempt. You sign the honor code, or you don't go to BYU. Right?
Yeah, and I went to a reformed college that was near my hometown. When I first started, I didn't graduate from that, but the deal was that they had a religious philosophy, and you were required to take 2 Old Testament classes, 2 New Testament classes, and you could believe anything you wanted, but when you took a test, you had to give them back their belief. And, you weren't allowed to have premarital sex, no smoking, no drinking, even into the 70s when pantsuits first started to come in. Wasn't that
no
about
skirts?
that?
I mean,
you
only
weren't,
skirts?
You weren't allowed to wear pants if you were a woman.
And
so.
BYU's honor code, I mean, it also includes things like you have to meet a certain standard in grooming.
Mm-hmm.
You must
no beards. You can't have a beard.
You must attend religious services on Sunday, whether you're Mormon or not. You must attend some sort of religious services. So it's they take it very seriously.
Very specific.
And no long sleeve shirts with a tie. I mean, that's critical.
Yeah. And you have to have your bike.
I don't know if they have to wear their helmet to classes or not.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, but what happened was a 19-year-old, again, this 19-year-old sophomore who is 6'9", he had sex with his girlfriend, Danica Mendeville, an 18-year-old Arizona State volleyball player. Both of them are actually from Utah.
How tall was she?
It doesn't say how tall she was, but I guess she can jump like you wouldn't believe. But I'm assuming they may both be LDS. I'm not sure.
So the question is, how did anybody find out that this went on? Were they doing it out on the lawn of the main campus, or what?
Because I was posted there looking for it, didn't see any of it.
He actually approached his coach, Dave Rose, as well as, and don't laugh here, this is really the guy's name, Tom Holmoe, the athletic director at BYU.
That's a silent L.
Quaker
so is the E.
Has now begun.
I don't really understand what the... go ahead. I mean, what was the rest of it?
So basically, he approached his coach and the athletic director about what he did, letting them know that he broke the honor code, which I guess, was an honorable thing to do.
Yeah.
I'll give him credit for that. What happened was he ended up later on telling the team about it. He was suspended for a short period of time, right?
Well, for the rest of the season.
Well, initially it was for the time being, and then later on, it was actually Monday of last week that they decided to suspend him for the rest of the season.
I don't think it's a big deal. I mean, if you're going to go to the school, then
well, that's what I thought. I went as long as I could, and then I thought I really needed to go somewhere else.
Well, the real criminal thing here is that if gay marriage is illegal, then a gay person can never get married. Therefore, a gay person can never have gay sex. If you think of it that way,
at BYU, which they can't anyway. I mean,
and actually, they do have to refrain from homosexual activity, although attraction is allowed.
Exactly. I mean, the thing I think,
grief.
to your point, Eric, is that this is a university that is a private university affiliated with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Do I think this honor code is ridiculous? Sure. But do I think the whole Mormon religion is ridiculous? Sure. So that's really not the point. This is their honor code, and these students, all students, not just athletes, agree to abide by it, and if you can't and don't want to, don't go there.
When you go, when you sign that paperwork saying you want to go there, that's a legal contract. And if you don't like what they make you do to get that piece of paper that says you've graduated, you should go somewhere else.
I agree, but the whole thing is it's hypocrisy. What they should say is you're going to lie about having sex, because I know he's not the only person on the team doing it. So let's just be real about it.
One of their most famous alumni is Jim McMahon, former quarterback from the Chicago Bears from the 80s. Who famously says he was breaking all those honor codes when he was at BYU. The difference is he was able to keep a lid on it.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
So do we all agree?
Not really. I'm sure we don't.
Well,
I think we do.
I'm going to say, I'm pretty much going to echo what Connie said, and I'm going to say exactly what I said when we talked about the World Series thing. When we talked about the straight players from San Francisco that wanted to sue the league. When you sign that agreement, you're saying I'm going to abide by these rules, and I'm will undertake that responsibility, and I'm going to do this. So, if you agree to it, you agree to it.
On the other hand, I mean, I agree.
Here we go.
Yeah, I have to do something here with this. Okay, the school obviously. It's a private school, and they have their policies, and you have to agree to the policies to go to the school. You don't agree, you don't go to the school. If you want to move into an apartment that doesn't allow pets, you have pets, you say no pets, no me. It's the same concept. All right. On the other hand, how ridiculous is this school?
Very.
For asking their students.
You know what? I don't think it's ridiculous, because they're basically being the antithesis of every other university out there. I'm not going to say every university, but there's a lot of universities out there where, debauchery is the norm. And, they want their students obviously want to do something different. They want to be something different, and they want to go to a place that doesn't have that environment. And people should be able to go to a place where they don't want to go and have people around them screwing each other like crazy and have nothing but sex conversation everywhere they go. There should be a place for that.
It's a bunch of bull. I think that I see where you're coming from, Alfonso, but I think it's a bunch of bull. I think that, universities or schools that are privately owned and operating under this, religious philosophy are simply blinding themselves to reality. We are in 2011, and everyone knows that everyone is having sex before marriage. Everyone knows you have a 50% chance. I think the odds are higher now with the recession, but 50% chance you're going to get divorced anyway. And to operate under this philosophy is, none of our students are going to have sex before they're married. It's blinding yourself. Kind of like if you're in the city, you see the crime. If you live in the suburbs, it paints this picture of life is pretty, but the reality is it's just as bad in the suburbs.
Well, I do agree with you on that end. It isn't realistic. They also don't have services for their students, I think for sexually transmitted diseases or anything like any kind of prevention like that. So I do think on one end, yes, they're living in the dark. On the other end, I don't think there's anything wrong with setting that kind of standard for yourself as a student.
I think you should wait, until you find someone, especially if you're a virgin, you should definitely wait until you find someone that you really care for, you're really in love with. That's my own personal opinion, but I am not ever going to throw my opinion and try to force other people to feel the way I do.
Yeah. But what about everyone knows gays can't play sports?
I'm going to take the conversation in a little bit different direction, because I do want to talk about the fact that most coaches in the colleges, like what you said earlier, buddy, they would hide something like this from the administration. Yeah. So I do want to say kudos to the coach.
Exactly.
And to the
school.
student.
And to the school for sticking to their guns, because this is a guy who was their leading rebounder, their third leading scorer, and was a very pivotal part of the BYU team this year that had a chance to go to the Final Four.
Yeah.
And the day after they suspended him for the season, they got killed by New Mexico.
It's 82-64.
They're not the same team anymore. They'll be lucky to, if they get to the second week of the tournament, that'll be an accomplishment for them now. But the school is placing their honor code first, which, as much as I think it's ridiculous honor code, I got to hand it to them for that.
Yeah.
I just think
I
it
do
sets
too.
up a very dangerous environment for their students, because when you're in college, that part in time in your life is a very sensitive time, and if you're gay or questioning and you're not able to explore that because you've chosen to go to the school or your parents forced you to go to the school where you have to suppress those feelings, I think it could possibly turn you into a damaged or an adult that isn't able to have a healthy relationship because you never got to experiment or whatever you needed to do when most people do. Those
Maybe
things in
the
college.
moral here is don't go to BYU.
Not unless you can refrain and abide by the code, because we know they're going to stick to it.
Take your chastity belt with you, kids.
We need to take a break. Log on to CompeteRadio.com for news, information, hot topics, and more. Events from around the world will be up next right here on Compete Radio.
Compete Radio is on 1480 KPHX.
Thompson Image Photography specializes in headshots, portraits, children's photography, weddings, commitment ceremonies, editorial, and lifestyle photography. Our studio is located in Paradise Valley. We offer a wide range of products from your standard prints to prints on canvas. There are two photographers at Thompson Image Photography, Don Thompson and Stephanie Heyman. We can be reached at 602-418-2262, and please visit our website, www.thompsonimage.com.
Steel Gym, the only real gym in New York City. From aerobic machines to strength training, 2 floors with all the equipment you need to achieve your fitness goals. Independent, more personal, open 24 hours, and named one of the top 6 gyms in the U.S. by Muscle and Fitness magazine. All personal trainers, welcome. Steel Gym. Come by and see why we're the only real gym in New York City.
For more information, feel free to contact us at www.steelgym.com or 212-352-9876.
Roscoe's on 7th Sports Grill.
Host of the first big party every week with its 2-for-1 Tuesday and Thursday nights.
Enjoy great food and daily drink specials while watching one of our 13 screens, catching all your favorite sports action, plus the best scenery in town, if you know what I mean.
Roscoe's on 7th is located just south of Highland on 7th Street. Log on to roscoesonseventH.com. Roscoe's on 7th.
Your sports bar.
Compete Radio.
Compete Radio is proud to present the Compete Experience. Come meet your favorite Compete personalities up close and personal. Upcoming appearances include March 12th and 13th. Come meet Connie Wardman and David Riek at the Jacob Javits Center in New York City at the original GLBT Expo. They'll be at booth 619. March 12th in Washington, D.C., Compete All-Star Ken Hunt is at the Team DC's Fashion Show and Model Search. March 12th in Palm Springs, come meet Eric Carlisle at the 17th Annual Steve Chase Humanitarian Awards.
Log on to CompeteRadio.com for more.
I am Gay Sports.
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 I am Gay Sports. And together,
we are Gay Sports.
Listen up! The 3 most important things in my life are God, family, and the Green Bay Packers. That's my better half, Marie. She's no pushover. How else could she have stayed married to me for the last 20 years? Presses hard on me because I push my players to the brink. But they sing a different song when we win on Sundays. They all know that winning isn't everything. It's the only thing.
Lombardi on Broadway. More than just the game.
Hey, it's Josh Fourier, host of Compete Radio. I'm hanging out with Jay here at the show. I don't know about you, Jay, but I love CompeteRadio.com.
Yeah, I do too, Josh. Compete Radio, it's always up to date, and it's one of the more informative sites out there for gay sports.
CompeteRadio.com. That's CompeteRadio.com.
CompeteRadio.com.
Compete Night at the Coyotes with Ion AZ, March 29th at Jobbing.com Arena. Call 480-222-4223 for more information.
Are you competitive? Do you like to connect with others like you? Then you need to know about Compete Magazine, the only international gay sports magazine. Get up close and personal with national sports figures, pop icons, and local heroes, all in the pages of Compete Magazine. To get Compete Magazine delivered to your door, visit CompeteMag.com.
Compete Radio is brought to you in part by
Roscoe's on 7th is the only gay sports bar in Arizona. For more information, log on to roscoe'son7th.com.
You're listening to the only GLBT sports radio show in the nation. Compete Radio. Compete Radio.
Welcome back to the show. Be sure to log on to CompeteRadio.com. We don't have enough time to get to everything during this show, but CompeteRadio.com has that list of all of the events from around the country and the world, for that matter. Coming up very soon is going to be a special night for Compete Sports Media. We are going to be joining the Coyotes, and it's going to be Compete's very own night at the Coyotes.
Now, what sport is that, Josh?
I believe it involves a puck.
Good.
That's with a P.
Curling?
I believe it's hockey.
Well, for those of you who don't know out there.
Well, wait, did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
It is hockey.
Josh has been learning sports since he came.
Oh, well, speak for yourself.
That's exactly right.
I'm not learning anything.
He and I are off in a corner saying, "Who was that?"
Yeah, Connie and I, we're making progress, right?
Exactly.
I've learned that the Coyotes are a hockey team. I have learned Pujols is a very famous baseball.
One of Buddy's favorite. Yeah. Buddy loves Pujols.
Pujols is a very famous baseball player.
And the Steelers are the only football team.
Right.
You forgot. Okay. I just wanted to make sure you were going to add that in.
Of course.
Okay.
So, Eric, tell us a little more about this Compete Night at the Coyotes. What exactly does this entail?
I'd like to welcome the audience to the event section of the show. Thank you for coming.
Okay.
We're all going to be hanging out with some Coyotes on March 29th at jobbing.com arena. We want you all to come and hang out with us. It's going to be a really good time. And there's an easy way to get tickets. You can call Josh directly. I'm going to give you his number.
No.
It's 480
No.
4223.
I thought you were giving my cell phone.
480-222-4223 and ask for Josh's cell phone number when you call.
Right.
No, just kidding.
Yeah,
just
that'll happen.
Get transferred to the Compete Studios.
Yes. So, that's 480-222-4223. Whenever you call, just ask for the Compete Studio.
There you go.
We will be standing by waiting to take your orders for tickets. And how much are they? They're $20?
They're $20 with $5 going to 1 in 10.
Yeah, and it's awesome because you're basically a VIP for the whole night. If you're a part of the Compete crowd, we get the terrace. We'll have some entertainment up there. A really good chance to interact with the different readers and listeners of everything across the board with the Compete brand.
And we'll have some prizes to give away that night, too. I don't know what they are yet, but we'll come up with something.
Will the Compete Mobile be there?
He can't put the Compete Mobile in the stands, I don't think. But
he already tried, and they wouldn't give him permission.
Oh,
but we got lots of other things coming up, too, that I need to get in today. So the first thing I want to know, I just got an email from a reader while we're sitting here in the studio today.
Okay.
BYU has now outlawed any Abercrombie clothes. So if you think you're going to be wearing Abercrombie clothes...
Even if they fit you?
Is that different from Abercrombie?
Yeah, right.
Whatever. Typically, if they fit you, you're in middle school anyway.
That was FITCH in case that went down.
I thought it was Finch. It's not Finch?
Fitch.
Okay.
No, it's Abercrombie Finch.
Oh, jeez.
I'm actually impressed that you got it that close to what it actually was.
Thank you. We have a couple of great events coming up that I want to talk about. The first is the Outboard. 2011 Snowboard and Ski Week, March 29th through April 3rd in Crested Butte, Colorado. That just sounds really fancy, doesn't it? Like Crested Butte?
It does.
Because what's a butte that's not crested? Is that like non-crested Butte, Colorado?
I don't know. I never thought about that.
So what do you get to do at this fancy event in Colorado?
You get to find out why we've been called the most laid-back and most affordable ski and snowboard event.
You mean why Outboard is the most...
Yeah. Well, that's not the way I'm reading it, so we go with what I'm reading.
Okay.
But you can find out more
Stick to the script.
You can find out more about this great event, and I'm actually very excited about this one. You can find out more by going to CompeteRadio.com or Outboard.org.
Will you be snowboarding at this event, Eric?
So that should be a fun event.
Okay.
Back to the Compete Mobile.
It is in Colorado. We're based here in Arizona, for those of you that aren't aware. I know we're all over the nation. So we're in Arizona. Colorado is just right across the road. So maybe
the river.
The river.
Colorado
Through
River.
the woods.
Yeah, maybe we should take a little trip.
I've got a couple more things I need to get in really quick, Josh. I know you hate when I do this, but there's a chili cook-off coming up, and I believe our very own Buddy Early is going to be there judging it.
That is correct. It's Saturday of this week.
Cactus City Softball League chili cook-off. I'll be in Palm Springs. Connie will be in New York, and Buddy will be at Roscoe's on 7th.
With my Beano in hand.
and I'll be there with you.
Yeah, Alfonso will be there as well.
Maybe we can convince Josh to show up too.
Maybe.
Go to CompeteRadio.com, and I believe there's a new events tab coming up.
There is?
Click on events, and we have a slew of events. You can find out what we're doing.
Cool. Yeah, there's so much more going on. I wish we had more time for this segment, but I think they want to play commercials.
One more time.
No. Okay.
Where's that buzzer? Thank you.
There we go. Log on to CompeteRadio.com for news, information, hot topics, and more. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week right here on 1480 KPHX, the Valley's Progressive Talk. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Compete Radio is on 1480 KPHX. Log on to CompeteRadio.com for news, information, hot topics, and more.
Advertisers of this program reach more than 95% of Maricopa County, and by advertising on Compete Radio, you show the citizens of Arizona that your business believes in diversity, equality, and human rights. 79% of our audience is more likely to buy from a gay-friendly business. For more information on advertising on Compete Radio, please call 480-222-4223.
Log on to CompeteRadio.com for news and more.